Okay, so the drone that I'm going to fly today is one that I've custom built on on Liftoff. It's got a max speed of 76 kilometers an hour, weight of 191 grams, and a thrust of 620 grams, and it's quite drifty. Um, so that's what we're going to use, and then the flight controller settings. I've got I've got on race flight and so on. I want I want it to be I want it to be quite drifty because I want to be able to teach myself how to control it. Uh, yeah, I want my thumbs and my fingers to be able to control this. I've also got God mode off, and my aim is to be able to do this with flying and talking and going through gaps without crashing, because at the moment I seem to be able to do it without talking to someone and without, well, with just like concentrating, but I need this distraction of talking or yeah, I need this distraction. But I think, there is a having the rate settings are super important. Now you can set them to be like really low, and so you can have large movements, but I I think that stops you from learning. I think it's these micro movements that you need in your fingers to that can. I mean, it's like just walking and talking and stuff. There's muscles in our body, especially in our face, that are micro movements that happen instantly without us even knowing them. And I think you've got to be able to try and get the muscles in your fingers to work in combination with your eyes and then your brain and stuff. So I'm trying not to think about my fingers at all, and I want my brain to kind of say slow down a little bit or speed up a little bit, and my eyes to say where I want to go. I want to go through this bottom gap, and I think that's a key part of learning how to fly a drone. And don't get me wrong, I've not been flying a long time, but I've put now, I think, about 150, 160 hours in total on simulators. And other people might want to race quite fast or do some tricks, but I'm not super concentrate. I'm not super concentrating on doing tricks. I'm more about precision flying and keeping it as cinematic as possible, or keeping it as smooth as possible, because I think anyone can learn how to just jolt around anywhere. It's like anyone can flick paint onto a canvas in any shape or form and call it art. It, art is obviously, perceived by the eye and the person who's looking at it. But I think human beings, we like seeing video footage or pictures that are pleasant to our eyes, and to they've got some form of emotions. And I think being able to fly a drone around that lets the eye follow, and if you see the ground moving too fast, our brain can't kind of it can't kind of comprehend what's going on. It can't take in the pleasure. Whereas if you go at a speed where our eyes can take in all of the fine details, but the surrounding area, the surrounding objects, they're going by quick enough that you get a new scenery every second or every amount of time frame. So let's come up through this building now, because I think the trick is to slow down and be able to turn, and then naturally you have to look through the target. But I think I've managed, and I think I've managed to train my eyes now to naturally look through and to tell my fingers, yeah, it's okay. I'm trying to move round. I want to go through this corner gap here. Let's try and come through here as well, and slow down, slow down, slow down. And then we're going to go right. So you're right. I think that's another trick is that it's like your brain thinks that rolling is the thing that's turning, but that's not true. Your eyes are the yaw. You turn with the yaw, and then you kind of like straighten it up with the roll. So if we want to do a hard right here, we're still going forward, but we have to correct the roll, because the roll, that if we go right here, the roll and then forward is the thing that turns you. And this is, and I'm not perfect at it yet, but I'm getting a lot better, and like more doing a smooth bend rather than this 90-degree turn, like this. It's kind of like there, and you can speed up, but I think the trick is to do it slowly. It's to bring the and hovering with a FPV, especially in acro mode, is not the easiest thing. And let's just try and hover here first of all. Try, I said. Okay, and yeah, I'm not the best at it. And stopping, I need to practice at stopping. So I'm still. This is something I'm really trying to practice at. But like going through small gaps is something that I want to be able to do. And I think I've done quite well so far with how long I've flown the drone for without having a single a single knock or scrape or and the damage control is not even showing yet, so I've obviously not even knocked it yet. But this is the point, is being able to fly around continuously, just like you were driving a car. I mean, I've driven a car for a long time, and I've never, well, since I was 17 years old, I've never managed to damage anything. So, I'm 45 now, so you've just got to train yourself to know where danger is. And I think in the simulator, if you have to allow yourself to crash, to push the limits. But when you decide to go out flying, you have to decide, okay, am I using the simulator for learning, or am I using the simulator for actual flying? And I think when you say to yourself, I'm actually going to fly, it needs to be as if you are in real life, So, but when you're learning, you should then think, okay, well, I'm here to push my boundaries here, to try and get better at turning or get better at going smaller gaps. And you have to expect to crash or to knock or to do it wrong. You've got to expect that. But when you kind of say, oh no, I've got to be able to practice and practice and practice the things that you're doing, and I think I might crash it. Oh dear. But I was in the army for 10 years, and you don't learn how to do stuff in the army just by learning it. You learn how to be an expert in it, and you can do it whilst you're tired, in the rain, in the snow, in the dark, because you've done it hundreds and hundreds of times, one after the other. And it isn't like you did it once a day. In the army, you practice stuff like for hours on end, one after the other, until, and then you do it, like I said, they make you practice stuff whilst you're tired and whilst you're wet. So your body can do it instantly without thinking. And I think this is the whole concept of flying a drone, is that your body and your eyes have to be in direct communication with whatever it is in your brain that controls, well, there we go, whatever it is that controls you when you're sleeping, that it can still control everything. And we subconsciously can fly the drone. I don't know. I'm just saying that there's some. I wasn't thinking about my fingers then to go through that hole. My fingers just got me through that hole. I was just looking, like thinking, I want to go through this hole now, and like I want to go through this building here, and I want to turn left directly through here. I'm not telling my fingers to do that. I'm just saying, hey, I want to go through that gap there. And if you have to start, it's too much imperative thoughts that I want to go directly left here, like this. Let's see. And above this green, I want to go straight through this building, and we're going to spin round 180 degrees, and we're going to come back through the other side, see, and come through here. I still need practice at that, but I did it. And we're going to come left. Oh, I nearly crashed then, but that was luck on my side. We're going to go through the middle here. Yes, and then we're going to spin round 180 degrees, and then we're going to try and come through the left bit, and then we're going to spin round 180 and come through the right bit. So not the middle bit, but we're going to come through, or the left bit now, now looking at it, and come through here. And we're going to go straight through and then go through the middle bit of the other building. And then we're going to do 180, and we're going to come up one floor and go back through the other side. So we're going to come up. Oh, that's going to be hard. We're going to try and come through this gap. Yes. Okay, try and slow down, and then come through the middle bit of the top floor without crashing. There we go. Okay, see, I didn't slow down there, but that's why I'm practicing. It's the slowing down thing that's important. When you realise you've made a mistake, you've got to be able to just to strip the speed out of the drone, and to get it to stop nearly instantly. And that I still need lots of practice at. I mean, I understand the concept behind it, but I don't fully understand like the order that you have to do things. Are you supposed to then pitch up? Are you supposed to then take the throttle off? Or are you supposed, this is, yeah, I'm still trying. And I know that people, they make these videos about how to fly the drone, but I mean, there is, I'd say, I say to Eileen, my wife, that in the beginning it's let's say 90% theoretical and 10% practice. But once you've managed to get off the ground and managed to fly, at least flying it, then it becomes like 90% practice and 10% theoretical, because now you're having to learn how to do what you're doing properly. And the rest of theoretical is someone could read it to you as many times as you want, but if you don't practice it, you'll still be person reading it in the book. And let's face it, drone flying is not theoretical. It's pure practice, and it's pure muscle memory. And so you've got, in order to get that muscle memory in, and to get the muscles in your thumbs, for example. I mean, when you first start doing it, let's call it a millimeter or a micro millimeter or whatever it is, those movements, your muscles in your thumbs, they have to learn how to do that. And it's once you can move your thumbs in the smallest amount without concentrate, without thinking about it, that's when you can start flying the drone. But you need to know how to fly the drone, as in you need to know how to turn the drone. The biggest thing to take away from this is that if you want to turn somewhere, you've got to yaw, and you've got to see where you're going first. That's the whole point. You need to see where you're going first. I want to go right, so we're going to yaw right, and then we push forward to get it to go right. And if you're not a big fan of physics, well, get a fan of physics, because the momentum, Newton's laws, I'm not going to say them, but if you're moving in one direction, you're going to stay moving in that direction. And unless you apply a net force to push you in another direction. And this is the whole point of it. If I yaw, I need a net force to push me in the other direction. And that's why you have to change the tilt of the drone to make the force, the thrust of the propellers and the engines to push the air in another way. And then you'll get the turn. So to be able to do a tight turn, you have to be able to, obviously you have to do all of the motions at once, because you need to be turning, thrusting, pitching, and all sorts of stuff to keep you not from crash. Because if you yaw whilst you're rolling, you go down. So you have to pitch up as well, and so or you have to throttle up as well, just to keep it. But then once you're flat, I'm no expert at this, but I just know that when you do, it's all the movements together. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say, is that you have to learn how to do all the movements together. And can you do it? Should you do it like this? Yes, you should, to learn it theoretically and what the movements are. But it doesn't help. It doesn't make you a better drone pilot. It just means that you can do stuff imperatively, all right? It needs to come declaratively, like turn left, turn right. And what I'm saying is that the imperative version is then yaw, roll, pitch, and throttle, all right? Well, that's the imperative part. You're saying all of the different motions. Well, declarative is just turn right. And so you've got to learn how to put all of those movements instantly together in harmony, so everything is complementing, like the pitch is complementing the throttle, the yaw is complementing the roll, and so on. So and it's like the stopping. Now, is it the pitch that's obviously when we go forward and we want to slow down, we need to pitch up and then throttle off. But I'm still practicing to be able to do it. But I think I've crashed a couple of times. I'll see at the end how many times I actually crashed. I think it's 2 times. But I'm kind of happy, I'm flying through these gaps nicely, and there we go. Let's go through the tractor, or the whatever it's called, the digger. Let's come through here. Yeah, and then there's finally, obviously, landing, which this is where the stopping is involved. Because it's all well and good flying a drone, but you've got to learn to land it. Otherwise, you're going to be breaking stuff. There we go. All right, there we go. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm probably going to make more of them. That's it. Thanks then. Goodbye.